The latest Pompey news, updates every day from the Pompey Sound news desk.
Saturday's clash with Millwall could mark Callum Lang's reappearance for Pompey in over 3 months. Fans are being urged to temper their expectations when Callum Lang finally makes his Blues return. The fans' favourite is nearing his comeback, with Saturday's home match against Millwall long pencilled in as his likely return to first-team action. If that happens, it'll bring an end to more than 3 months on the sidelines for the Liverpudlian, who picked up a hamstring injury in Pompey's home defeat to Norwich back on August 16th. That's seen the forward miss 13 games and left fans eagerly awaiting his return. But we wait to see if John Messina will be tempted to throw the former Wigan man straight back in to help Pompey's current relegation scrap.
It's worth remembering that Segicic, Blair and Franco Ume are also nearing availability, as is Nico Schmidt. And it's probably in goal that is giving Messina most of his big headache, a good headache, which is having too many players, for once, except at left back, but we'll come back to that elsewhere. In between the sticks, Schmidt made such a good job of being our number one keeper for such a long time, you would have thought that he'll go straight back into the first team. However, that does risk a knock to the confidence of Joe Bursick, who has done a fantastic job standing in for Schmidt. He arrived at the club almost fourth choice goalkeeper, but he has done so well, hasn't put a foot wrong. Perhaps his clearances, his distribution isn't quite up there with Schmidt, who has a fantastic long flat kick. By the way, I don't think there's anybody keeping goal who is better with a long ball out of his own penalty area than Nico Schmidt. And he's a good shot stopper as well, of course. I don't think, do you, that the manager is suffering any kind of huge concern about whether or not to start with Lang? Surely Lang is going to start on the bench and feel his way back into Championship football, which he took to so well, but you still have to acclimatise yourself after missing 13 games. The speed of it, the pace of thought, the pace of movement is something that you have to have right at 100%, 110% in order to do what we know Lang can do. So he'll be acclimatised surely, and he will start in his tracksuit top, sitting on the bench, along with Segicic, who probably has stronger claims to start the game than Callum Lang, because Segicic, we think, has an accelerated recovery faster than Lang, and is possibly fitter than Lang. So he could start and then perhaps come off after 65 minutes and let Lang on. That could be the way it goes. We'll see on Saturday.
With Pompey preparing to pick up the current season after a 2-week break, a section of vociferous fans are spouting doom and gloom. Some are even calling for a wholesale overhaul of the Pompey squad. The rejoinder to that small but quoted minority lies in hard facts. On November the 18th last season, 2024, Pompey lay 23rd in the table, one place off the bottom. On November the 18th this year, Pompey lie 20th, and ahead of the relegation zone, a zone which contains one club that is almost certainly destined for relegation. This time last season Pompey had 12 points compared to 14 now. A year ago our goal difference was -9, while today it is -8. Perhaps most significantly, this time last year we had conceded 25 goals, and this season so far we have conceded a mere 20. In fact, in terms of points secured, last season Pompey didn't get to where we are now until a couple of weeks before Christmas, whereas this season we are where we are now, namely better off than last season, with a fortnight to go before the decorations even go up.
So there it is, in black and white, in cold steel. We're doing better than we were last season at the same time of the season. Significantly better, particularly in terms of goals conceded. A defence which has been ravaged by injuries is nevertheless outperforming last season's defence, which was admittedly also ravaged by injury. But there's no getting away from it. We are in a better position than we were this time last year. And those fans who either suffer from short-term memory loss or quite deliberately enjoy stirring it and are hoping for blood on the walls because that's more interesting than a consistent 11 starters and a manager who's got his feet under the desk so securely it's like he's a ball and chain. He's got a ball and chain, and that's pretty much what it seems with John Messino. The owners love him so much, and so do we, and so should we. They'd rather turmoil. That's what they want, is turmoil, tumult, and much wailing and gnashing of teeth. No, we're better off than we were at this time last year. Plain, cold fact. Suck it up and enjoy it. We came good last season around the middle of January because we were gelling together a side that we had rebuilt during the summer transfer window, and then made some good additions in January. We made some big changes in the summer. We'll get some additions in January. It's a racing certainty that by the middle of January, the squad will begin to gel, they'll stay fit, and will start to climb up the table. And they'll have to be quiet until the next time. All part of the fun of the game, isn't it? Mixed messages filtering down from London ahead of Millwall's visit on Saturday. London World are taking the pessimistic view, saying Millwall handed double injury concern ahead of Portsmouth and Sheffield Wednesday.
Alex Neil explained the early return of 2 Millwall stars from international duty ahead of the Championship's return. Millwall look for a first Championship win in 4 fixtures this weekend as league action returns, with a visit to Portsmouth following the international break. Alex Neil's side still cling on to a playoff space at this early stage of the season, currently in 6th place, but have not recorded a win since the 1-0 win over Leicester City at the end of August. Since then, the Lions have drawn against Oxford United and Preston North End, as well as being beaten 4-0 by Birmingham City. Millwall take on 20th place Portsmouth on Saturday afternoon, and Neil could be without 2 first-team stars following injuries on international duty. Mihailo Ivanovic and Daniel Kelly were called up to represent Serbia and the Scotland under-21s, but the duo dropped out of the squads prior to the first game of the break and returned to Millwall. Ahead of the weekend, Neil has provided an update to News at Den. Kelly had missed a chunk of the season with a hamstring injury between September and the start of November. The midfielder returned to the matchday squad against Birmingham City and was then handed a 1-minute cameo against Preston North End. Ivanovic is reported to have picked up a knock in the meeting with the Lilywhites too, Neil said. Both of the lads picked up knocks. Dan is still feeling his quad and his hamstring. He didn't really train enough for us to involve him in the last game, but we did because we had a lack of numbers in that area. Mihailo went down and sort of looked as if he twisted his knee. He got another kick on his ankle as well. So there were a couple of little bits and bobs for him that, unfortunately, they haven't done as much training as we would have liked.
That's London World reporting doom and gloom at the Den, whereas Football League World say, in their headline, in their piece, Alex Neil confirms triple Millwall boost ahead of Portsmouth.
Alex Neil has provided a positive injury boost for Millwall in the lead-up to their upcoming clash against Portsmouth. The Lions are winless in their last 3 league fixtures, but are still firmly in the mix for a playoff place in these early stages of the campaign. The London outfit will be hoping to get back to winning ways with the return to league action this weekend following the conclusion of the November international break. The final break of the calendar year also means that fixtures will now be coming thick and fast, with Neil's side set to play 11 games between now and the 4th of January. Millwall's season could be defined by their form in the coming 6 weeks, making it potentially the most important part of the entire campaign. Neil has claimed that Stephen Bender and Alfie Doughty have both been back out on the grass during the international break, indicating they are close to a return to the first-team squad. Meanwhile, Femi Aziz has also been out on the grass, but the Millwall boss has suggested that a return as soon as this Saturday could be touch and go. Alfie's been on the grass, Stephen's been on the grass, said Neil via News Atterden. We've got a couple coming back this week. It's just going to be a case of, can we get enough volume and training load into them to make them ready and prepared for the games? That'll be a decision that will get made later in the week, because obviously we don't know what's going to happen today, what's going to happen Thursday, what's going to happen Friday. Then we'll take it from there. But the lads are making good progress. Femi's been on the grass again.
So there you have it. Depending on which news agency you want to believe, you pays your money, you takes your choice. They're faced with a triple injury concern, or they've got a triple injury boost. Or maybe Alex Neil is having a go at playing John Messino-type mind games. Time will tell on Saturday.